Hi everyone, I hope you were able to look at the slideshow with the information about the stained glass windows. If you had some time, I hope you could go around and share what you learned and what you saw in the pictures in the slideshow. So now we get to make our own version of stained glass windows. We're going to make sun catchers. I don't know if anyone here has made a sun catcher before, but they're really fun. Sometimes you make them at school. Like I remember making them at school, maybe in like 3rd or 4th grade, but they're really, really fun and simple to make, but you can get as detailed and creative as you want, or you can keep it really simple and make some different shapes. So I'll show you some different ways to make sun catchers and different techniques that you can try. So earlier during the warm-up, we made these awesome snowflakes. So you can see they're all different shapes, and it's cool because you make these snowflakes and the patterns and designs in the snowflakes. You make the patterns and designs in the snowflakes by cutting out the paper. So now there are holes in the paper. The cool thing about a sun catcher is that we're going to cover up those holes with a type of paper that you can kind of see through, and that's tissue paper, what I'm holding right now. So you're going to cover the holes when we make our sun catcher. You're going to cover the holes in your other snowflake with tissue paper, and I'll show you that when you hold this up to the window, the light from the window outside will come through the tissue paper. And it will kind of shine and glow. It'll make the tissue paper glow, kind of like stained glass glows, how you saw in the presentation. So we'll get started. So this was your warm-up snowflake. You can hang it up, keep it, use it, but we're gonna make a new snowflake with your black construction paper. If you notice when you were looking at the pictures of stained glass, a lot of times the stuff that holds the colorful glass together is black, like the stuff in the middle, the colors, it kind of looks like outlines, it's black. So that's why we're going to use black construction paper, because it's a lot darker than the colors that we're using, and so it really makes them glow when you put them in the window and the sunlight comes through. So that's why we're going to use black construction paper. So all you need right now is your pencil, and you'll be able to see the lines that you make on your paper with your pencil. I'm going to use a white colored pencil so that you can see the lines I'm making and follow along with me. So here is my black paper, and I think I'm going to start by folding it in half, hamburger style. So fold it in half. And next, I'm just gonna start making some shapes. So let's see, I think I wanna put a square at the top. And this is just like making your snowflake during warm-up. So the same thing that we just practiced. Don't worry if you're still getting the hang of it, that's okay. Every art project is just trying something new. So just see what you can make and see what you can do with it. And I'm sure you'll make something beautiful. So let's see, I'm gonna make a rectangle shape along the folded edge of your paper is where you make your shapes if you want. It's where you make your half shapes if you want to make a whole shape. So here's my rectangle, and I don't know, I'm gonna make a couple more. So some more rectangles. I'm gonna do a half of a heart and a circle and another circle. So here I have all my shapes cut out. And I'm just gonna start cutting them. So there's a circle, and I'm just gonna go down the line, and cut out all the shapes. You might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of shapes. I don't want to make that many shapes on my sun catcher. I just want a couple big shapes. That's totally okay. So I'll show you how to do that too. So you can make a sun catcher with a lot of big shapes. So I'm going to fold mine in half. And let's say, there's my pencil. Let's say I want to make a half circle or a full circle. So I'm going to draw a half circle and I'm just going to make it pretty big. And it's a bigger shape, so it's a little easier to cut out with my scissors. So if you're somebody who is using scissors or learning how to use scissors, you might want to make big shapes because they're a little easier to cut out with scissors when you're first practicing. So there we go. There's a half circle, and unfold it, and there's a big circle. So that looks pretty cool. And then let's see, I'm gonna make another fold starting here. So I'm gonna bend the paper where I want the fold, which is down here. It's not really in half. I'm just folding another part of paper. And so there's my fold. I just folded it up. And along the folded side, I think I'm gonna put a diamond here. So I'm gonna make that V shape again, right there, just like that. And I'm gonna cut it out. Along the lines. And let's see what we got. I have no idea how this will look. Oh, it kind of looks like a face. So I have 3 shapes right now. I have 2 diamonds and a circle. This is just an example of making a snowflake or making a sun catcher with a few big shapes instead of a lot of little shapes. So that's one example. I'll finish this one and go back to the other one that's a little bit more detailed, meaning it just has some more shapes. So I'm just gonna fold where I don't see shapes. I don't see shapes here or here. So I'm gonna fold it where I don't see them and make some shapes there. So here's the folded edge right here. And so I'm gonna draw my half shapes here. So I'm gonna do rectangles, a rectangle and maybe, and maybe a heart. Yeah, I'll do a heart. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. The fun thing about making snowflakes or cutting paper to make sun catchers is that it's kind of a surprise how your shapes will turn out when you cut them out. So when you draw them, you might think you know how it's gonna look, but sometimes it's a surprise when you unfold your paper and see how your shapes look. So that's kind of a fun thing. You never know exactly how it's going to turn out. So, ready? Let's take a look. And surprise! Here are my shapes. So, I have a square, a diamond, another diamond, a circle, and a heart. So, yeah. So, this could be one sun catcher. That's an example of making some bigger shapes. And if you want to add another touch to your sun catcher, you can cut the corners so that your whole sun catcher isn't just a square or a rectangle. It can have some funky edges. So I'm gonna cut the corners off of mine. I'm just cutting them off like this. Cool. So now it kind of has, oh, I forgot one. There we go. So now we've got a rectangle, but it doesn't have pointy corners. It has flat corners now. So just something different to try. Okay. I'm going to come back to this one that has more shapes. So as I'm working, just be experimenting, trying new things with your own black construction paper, to make your shapes for your sun catcher. So just do whatever you think, whatever you like. What's your favorite shape? Do you think you can make a pattern, which is different repeating shapes? Maybe you do square, circle, square, circle, or maybe you do a heart with squares on both sides. So, and just try folding your paper again and again, cutting new shapes. What designs can you make? And when you unfold your paper, what does it look like? Did you make a face by accident? Did you make a line of shapes? Did you make a new shape you've never seen before? I don't know. So just keep working and trying new things. Okay, I'm gonna clean up a little. Okay, so here's my shapes on my sun catcher. I have a rectangle, rectangle, heart, circle, circle. Now I'm gonna fold this way. Just keep on making some shapes. So, do a diamond and another diamond. Cool. Whoa, so here's what it looks like so far. Coming along. Yeah, and it's okay to unfold and refold your paper while you're working on it to see how it's turning out. That's what I like to do. I like to know where I have room for more shapes, and then I can fold in that spot. So I'm gonna make some more hearts, I think. Okay, I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I'm excited to see. Okay, cool. Okay, I cut out my hearts. Let's look. Whoa, that's cool. So there's some right side up hearts, and then there's some upside down hearts. And I didn't think I would make that. I didn't know. But I like the upside down hearts. It's kind of like a reflection. Like when you look in the water and you see something that's on the land and then reflected in the water. It's like this heart is here, and then this heart is reflected. Okay. Gonna do some more folds. So now I'm gonna fold along here because I want to add some more shapes in this spot where there's none. So I'm just gonna make 2 more cuts in my paper. So I'm gonna draw 2 more shapes, and then I'll show you how to add the tissue paper. So there's one, and so that's one folded shape. I'm gonna fold here because there's also no shapes here. So there's that side. And then first I'm gonna cut this shape out and then fold. So I'm gonna cut out the rectangle. Cool. Let's see how it turned out. All right. Got lots of shapes going on. Okay, so I want to fold here too. So I'm gonna fold there, and I'm gonna cut a rectangle again. So I'm gonna draw a rectangle right there. Now, one important thing, see how my rectangle corner is really close to my heart right here? So it's really close. I'm gonna try not to cut into the heart when I cut the rectangle. So I didn't do that on this side because there's paper here still and it's not one big hole. But I'll show you on this side what happens if I cut a little too far. So, oops, I cut into the heart a little bit, but that's okay. We'll just show you what happens. Okay. So here I cut a little bit into the heart, and what that did is it just cut this paper where it would be connected here. It just cut it apart a little bit, but that's okay, because even if there's like a little bit of a piece that's not connected here or down here, I can still put tissue paper over it, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I have two pieces of black construction paper that are all cut and ready for tissue paper. So I'm gonna add the tissue paper, and I'm going to show you with this one with the simple shapes, and then if you have a more detailed paper like this one, you are just gonna do the same thing, but you're just going to end up cutting smaller pieces of tissue paper and more pieces of tissue paper. So I'm gonna show you on here first. So I'm gonna start. So right now you need your scissors first and then your glue stick. So I'm gonna start with the pink tissue paper, and it's a really big piece. So I'm just going to cut a little square of it out. And I wanna put it over this pink, or this square right here, so that this square is pink. So I'm gonna look and see, okay, how big is my square? Okay, my tissue paper needs to be bigger than my square, enough to cover the whole square and some of the edges of the square. So I'm gonna cut out a pretty big square of tissue paper. Okay, so I have my square, and you'll see it's bigger than the square here, and it covers the whole square and the edges. So see, it covers the square where it's light in the middle, but also the edges where it's dark. So I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna glue on my pink square now. So take your square or whatever size tissue paper you just cut out, and take your glue stick, and you're gonna put glue on the edges of the shape where you wanna put your tissue paper. So I'm gonna glue the edges like this. And I'm just gonna put my tissue paper right on top of my shape that I cut out and where there's glue. So it'll stick to the glue on the sides and it'll stay on the black paper.